Hey everybody, it's Greg Harrelson here, and it's that time, of course, as I say every time, it's that time for us to have our little Tuesday mastermind session together. I'm just double checking on my phone that I am live because I cannot see it on this end. So maybe if somebody can just throw it in the comment section, that would be awesome. I'm sure somebody will do that, but I'm just going to keep going, keep going. Anyways, I'm going to talk today. Look, we're what 2 weeks before Christmas. And I just have to say, there is a ton of business that we can still be doing at this time of the year. Now, when I say that, some people you may be thinking, oh, Greg, I mean, come on, sure, you're just trying to inspire us or try to get us riled up. No, there's a ton of business that can still be done. Thank you, Kim. There's a ton of business that can still be done this time of year. Now, I guess we have to define what does that mean, like a ton of business, and I guess what I really mean by that is there's opportunities for us to identify opportunities, find buyers and sellers between now and Christmas and even the week after Christmas. There's an opportunity, but we have to be looking. Now, that doesn't mean that if you find a new opportunity, that doesn't mean we're going to necessarily close them down, show them a property tomorrow, write a contract the next day, have a ratified contract the next day, and close it by the end of the year. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, that would be a little bit unrealistic, but I do believe that you can find new business this week and next week and the week after Christmas. I believe you can find new business and you can contract with on new business, and you can set yourself up for new closings at the beginning of the new year. So that's what we have to do here. And I just wanted to kind of share, I was sharing this with some of my agents, and, I understand that there's a lot of pain in the real estate market right now. And I'll get to the critical workflows that you got to have. So yes, today's conversation is going to be about critical workflows that we need to be using right now. So I'm going to give you some workflows, some names, and give you some ideas of who you should be targeted with workflows. Maybe even give you some sample language you can create inside of your Real Geeks account. But I just wanted to start off by saying, look, a lot of agents are experiencing a lot of pain right now. There's a lot of stress. There's agents using credit cards more than they've been using for quite a many years. There's agents that are behind on some of their payments. They haven't been behind in many years. There's agents regretting that they bought a pontoon boat and financed it. There's just or a new camper, etc. There's a lot of pain. Let's get the elephant out of the room. It just exists. It may be you. It may be somebody that you know. I hope it's not you. I hope it's nobody. But the reality is, it does exist. And it's not the first time that this has existed. Anytime a market goes from red hot to soft, there's challenges. And the challenge is always the activities of the agent. See, when the business is hot, when the business is growing, it's like agents' activities are up too. Like the business goes up, agent activities go up. It's like hand in hand. During the pandemic, business was up. Agents were working their tails off, showing up every day, making call after call after call. They wanted to write more contracts. So business was up, their activities went up. But what happens is when business is down, agents' activities go down. They get discouraged. They lose confidence. Oh, it's not worth it. No one's really going to do anything. Interest rates are too high, blah, blah, blah. No matter what the story is, no matter what the environment is, we know that if business is down, activities must go up. You can't have activities going down at the same time that the market is going down. That leads to disaster. So I just have to say this to everybody, please double down on your activities. Just do something. Do something. Workflows, for instance, that'll be something. So let's talk about some things that you can be doing in the area of workflows. I want to start off by saying this about workflows, though. I am not going to suggest, it's fine if you do it. It's your website. It's your business. You can do whatever you choose to do. But I will say this. People who are building workflows with a set it and forget it mentality, meaning I'm going to build a 6-month or a 12-month workflow thinking, man, I'll drip on these people for 12 months. Eventually they'll see my value. they are never going to engage and open up your stuff after like a few sequences. That's not how the consumer's doing it anymore. The consumer is not hanging out on your workflows and engaging for 12 months. There's too many people hitting your same database with emails and texts that it's hard to keep their attention. It's also hard to remain relevant. It's hard to remain relevant for somebody 12 months. What's the interest rates going to be in 12 months? Don't know. What's the market going to be like? Don't know. So if you've got to set it and forget it 12-month workflow, it sounds great. It sounds like, man, I'm really taking advantage of automation, but it's not necessarily that effective anymore. It used to be. I used to have 4-year, 5-year workflows, but it's not nearly as effective anymore. So what I've done is I've figured out what is effective through trial and error. We're finding out when it comes to workflow, the shorter and more targeted, the better. Shorter and targeted. So when we're going into the conversation about workflows, think shorter workflows, shorter in duration, meaning like not 6 months, not 2 months, like a couple days. Those are the ones that are working most effective. Literally, workflows that have 2, maybe 3 sequences, and a sequence would be like an email or a text. So only like 1 or 3 touches in a 1 to 2 day period of time. Those are the ones that are getting the best response. Those are the ones. So I'll just kind of go through some examples. Before I do, if you see in the comment section, you should be able to see there, somebody, one of my staff members put in there that I'm doing a webinar tomorrow. And it's for a lot of agents have been asking me, Greg, can you talk about, can you talk about the, I'm not going to talk about the NAR lawsuit, but a lot of people, because of that, are thinking, gosh, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to work buyers anymore. I can't get paid. I need to do more sellers. So I'm going to talk about like transitioning and doing more sellers. But quite frankly, I will just say this. I don't think buyer agents are going out of business by any means. That is not my belief by any means. I think you'll have to do things a little bit differently. We'll have to make some presentations. We'll have to communicate and share our value. We can make those adjustments, but being obsolete, no, is not really where I think the market is going. Our country is going by any means. So I am going to talk for those that are wanting to get more listings. So if you're interested in that webinar, there's a link that you can sign up for that. So let's talk about the workflows. I said shorter in duration and targeted. They tend to be most effective. So shorter in duration, as I said, would be 2 or 3 different sequences, maybe a text, an email, and a text. Okay, it would be a text, then email them, and then say, hey, I just wanted to confirm you got the email. That would be an exact, you could almost take any targeted category or segment of your database and do a text, email, text, and do that within a 1 to 2 day period of time, preferably maybe a 1 day period of time. That's only 2 texts in 1 day. You're going to get the best response rate. That's what our tests show. That's what our tests show. Like I can assure you that if my staff did this right now to 100 people, they are going to find 3 opportunities that no agent in my office is currently focusing on. And they'll be able to give those 3 opportunities to those agents, and those agents will call them and start actually talking to them immediately. And now they have a new lead. I'm also going to find out of 100 people, probably 4 of them already bought. I'm going to find a few people tell me to not contact them again. And I'll find a few people that say they're not interested anymore. And then there'll be a bunch of people that won't respond at all. But the 3 nuggets that I get was worth it. And all that would be is 100 people targeted based on certain patterns or characteristics. And then a text, email, text. I'm not saying disconnect all the workflows that you have. Not telling you to do that, not suggesting. It's not what I'm coaching you to do, but I am suggesting that you add either the ones that I'm going to share with you or some variation. So let's dive right into it. The first one here is, and you may already have something like this, but it's got to be a workflow based on re-engagement. That the intention is re-engagement. So what you would do is create an advanced search filter and find all the people that have no engagement in the last 3 to 6 months. They haven't favorited, searched, been to your website, no engagement between 3 and 6 months. And then have a second advanced search filter where there's no engagement between 1 and 3 months. See, we got to catch these people earlier in the game. If they start to disengage, they start to engage less, we need to know it. So I want to see the no engagement between 1 and 3 months, because the bigger that list of people is in my Real Geeks website, the more likely I'm going to have a massive list of people that are not engaged between 3 and 6 months. But if you can identify these people that are starting to like disengage in 1 to 3 months and get them to engage, that's huge. Huge for yourself, for your production, for your conversion. And we cannot rely on set it and forget it anymore. So something you can do with the people that are, say, disengaged, they're not active on your website anymore, they're not showing any signs of life, send them a text. Now, look, I will say this. What I share with you as language in a text is just what I'm sharing with you off the top of my mind. There's not going to be anything that's going to be amazing. Like 10 people could talk about workflows and give you language for a text. And for the most part, unless it was ridiculous, about all 10 versions would convert at relatively the same rate, unless there's something really off. It would be like most of them that convert good will convert good at the same rate. There could be some that convert bad because the text just made no sense. Okay. So the first workflow is going to go to those that are disengaged, either 3 to 6 months or 1 to 3 months. You figure that out by doing an advanced search filter, by using the advanced search filters. And you just simply send a text. Hey, we were, we've been in communication in the past. I've been sending you some properties. I just wanted to check, are you still getting the new listings that I'm sending you? That could be it. That's just a simple text. Then send an email. Hey, I sent you a text. I'm not sure if you got it, but I just wanted to make sure that you're seeing the new listings. Here's a link. Click here to see the top listings, actually, all the new listings that just hit the MLS today in our market. And I live in Myrtle Beach, so I could say in the Myrtle Beach market. So the first text is just say simply, hey, I just wanted to make sure you're still getting the new listings that I'm sending, and use the word new listings. Oh, no, I didn't get that. Well, it's probably because they stopped opening it. And they just never open it, so they never see it. So that's the first one. Get them engaging with you. Send them an email and say, hey, here's a link to the newest listings that hit the market today in the Myrtle Beach market, to hit the Myrtle Beach market today. If they click the link, they go to the website. So that's text, email. Now we got to do another text. 4 or 5 hours later, text them the link to the page on your website that has the new listings on it. And just say, hey, I'm sure you're busy. I wanted to make it easy for you. Check out these new listings that just came on the market in the Myrtle Beach market in the last 24 hours. And then there's a link. Text that to them, a link. Now that link should be a link to a page that you built on your website for the top 10, for the top listings, the top new listings in the Myrtle Beach market. You build a page that's always live, and every time your IDX adds listings to your website, then it becomes new. So it gets refreshed all the time, multiple times in an hour. So if somebody clicked it now and then clicks it in an hour, the new listings are going to be different. There's going to be some they've never seen. So it's a live link. You can always use the link. So send that in a text. So when they click it, guess what? They're automatically back into your website, now engaging. That's the whole thought, is I either want them to get into two-way communication with me, or I want them back on my website. And if you do that, you'll get a lot of people to re-engage. Huge. So there's two different scenarios right there. You got re-engagement for for those that are disengaged for between 3 and 6 months, and then the re-engagement workflow for those that have been disengaged between 1 and 3 months. The next one here is I'm going to share. The third one would be this: a workflow for people that have favorited property in the last 30 days. Now, if somebody favorites a new property today, I think you should be calling them. My best practice is you call them. But I know a lot of people don't want to make the call, so they want to kind of like use automation. The challenge is that, like, if you don't get, the most agents will use automation. It'll reach out to them one time, the person doesn't respond, and then now they just are lost in the system. So what I want to do is I want to take everybody that's favorited a property in the last 30 days, and I want to kick off a workflow. And that workflow could be 3 sequences: a text, email, and a text. And you could do the same thing. Maybe the first text says something like this: hey, John, just wanted to touch base with you. Any chance that you would want to take a look at the property that you favorited a while back, on my website? Are you still interested in looking at properties for sale in Myrtle Beach? Look, I had already said you may come up with something slightly better, but I can tell you right now, no matter what you text, unless it's crazy, you're going to get the same kind of response, at least percentage wise. So there's a text that you can send. Then the email can be the same email that we sent on the last workflow, which is driving them to a page that has all the brand new listings. And then the next text can be the same text from the previous workflow, is a link to that page, getting them engaged again. We can, when it comes to these short sequences, workflows, what you're going to see is the first text may be a little bit unique, but the email in the second text can be the same, no matter the category. Because driving them to your website to see the brand new listings is practically universal, no matter what category they're in. Whether they favorited a property, whether they opened up an email, whether they're disengaged and haven't been back to your website in a while, it's an effective way to get them back on your website. The next one here is the fourth one here is this would be somebody that would be a property owner, like I'd call them a seller lead or a property owner is how I would have them sourced. And it'd be to the category. Remember, I'm talking about segments, right? It's short in duration to a target audience. So I'm giving you the targeted audience, and I'm giving you the short duration of the workflow. Well, this targeted audience could be anyone that's viewed a market activity report in the past 3 months. Now, again, if somebody views a market activity report because you've sent one out through automation in Real Geeks and you see that they viewed it, you should call them. Call them, check in with them. Hey, I just wanted to make sure you're still getting those market activity reports. Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, I was just looking at one yesterday. Oh, fantastic. Well, I see you're keeping up to date with what's going on with prices. Tell me this. Have you put some thought to selling anytime in the near future? That's just simple call. Or they could say, no, I don't know. I don't think I get those. Well, they got it because they just viewed it. But don't say, well, I know you did because you just viewed it. You would just say, oh, okay. Well, I'll just make sure I send that to you again. But what I periodically send out is kind of like what properties have been selling for and are listed for in your neighborhood. I'm just kind of curious. Have you been keeping up to date with prices though? No, I haven't really. No. Have you been putting any thought to selling? Well, we may next year. Now, if you're not going to make the call, but you should make the call, but at the minimum, have an advanced search filter always set up on your dashboard that says viewed market activity report in past 3 months. And then again, it's a short workflow, 3 sequences: text, email, text. And then the last one here is this. Use advanced search filter and identify all the people that have been active on your website, no matter what activity it is, active, and there's no communication, meaning you haven't logged any communication in the notes. You haven't logged any communication. So there's no indication that there's been any communication with them, meaning you communicating with them. But they're active in the last 30 days. I mean, these are people, like, they're taking the time to be on your website and be active, and we're seeing that there's no communication. Well, I need to get into communication, because see, if I have people active on my website and there's no communication, eventually they become non-active on my website with no communication, and now they're lost forever. So if you got them active, it's like, that's what you wanted. Now get in communication so you can get that fish in the boat. Don't let that fish shake off the hook and swim off. So you got to have an advanced search filter that identifies that list of people, and then have a corresponding workflow: 1 text, 1 email, 1 text, 3 sequences. And there you go. These are 5 workflows. Now, they may seem basic, but look, most real estate agents aren't even doing the basic. If we just do the basic consistently, we win the game. It's doing the ordinary consistently that leads to extraordinary results. That leads to extraordinary results. Can you send me a recording of 5 most critical workflows? Somebody said in there. Not sure who said that, but because it doesn't show up your name. But this recording will stay on here on this Facebook page. I'm actually not recording it off. I'm live right here streaming on the Facebook page. So just know that it'll be here, and Real Geeks doesn't take it down. And then Real Geeks themselves will actually then put it in an email and send it back to you. So you should get that. Be on the lookout from an email from Real Geeks themselves to send that to you. Hopefully that you find that information helpful. The last thing I'll say before we get off the phone is, or get off this live, is this. Notice how I shared with you and gave you the tip or the strategy to use the advanced search filter in order to segment and target your list. I also said, but I only said it one time, I'm going to repeat it, is once you set these up, let it live on your dashboard. So every time you log into Real Geeks, you can click on each one of those little filters, and you can see if there's any new people in your database, or if there's any of the people that have been in your database have now qualified for one of those categories. So once you actually kick off the workflows, like, a lot of these people will now be engaged. So they will disappear from the search filter of disengaged. But somebody new will show up as engaged because now they just qualify for one of the rules, one of the criteria. Maybe they were only in the in your website for 2 weeks. Now they're in the website for a month and they haven't been engaged. And so now it triggers them getting into the advanced search filter. So if you kind of let those live on your dashboard, then you can, and then you have these workflows saved in your library. All you have to do is go to advanced search filter. You look at the list, kick off that workflow. Becomes very, very simple. Now, two things I'll just remind you of. There's a link there if you want to join the webinar tomorrow. There's no cost to it. Just join the webinar. I'm going to be doing that on Zoom, not like I'm doing it right now. It's not live on this Facebook page, so that's why you have to go and register so you get the link for where it is. That's one thing. And the second thing is if anybody needs some additional help, with Real Geeks, whether it be building out their websites, SEO information, workflow information, just anything around Real Geeks, maybe on a mastery level, kind of a higher level. I have something called Real Geeks Mastery Coaching. You can direct message me if you'd like some information on that. And then we can do a deeper dive and I can kind of show you more about what we do in our office to help us do thousands of transactions each year. So that's just up to you. Hopefully I'll see you on the webinar. If I don't, I hope to see you next week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.